Hey everyone, it is your girl P here. I might as well use my nickname that my close friends call me. I'm not sure if I'm unofficially have started a blog series, but whatever, here we go. And I know I said that I would leave the whole transportation thing alone. But so this morning, um, someone had reached out to me, just venting about how they have been having trouble reaching out to the public transit and I mean, not the public transit. I have the public transit in my mind. York County Access. Let me back up for a moment. The York County Access. Um, I couldn't get in contact with them, and I let them know that it is the morning time, and it seems like I also have trouble getting in contact with them in the morning time for whatever reason. And I urged the person, um, honestly, to write a review about the concerns that he has, about his experience that he has had with the York County Access that's under the York County Council on Aging, um, on Google, but also to reach out to Sabrina Clark, who is the transit supervisor, as well. You can't hardly get in contact with Sabrina Clark. I gave him her phone number and email address, if he wanted to leave a message, a email. And I encouraged him that honestly, with every time that he has trouble reaching out and getting in contact with the York County Access, I would reach out to Sabrina. Um, Honestly, because there's only so many times that they can ignore your message. Um, yeah. Anyway, so I know I said that I would give you kind of like there's more to the whole ending of and I have to, when I say public transit, I have to put in fixed route public transit because that kind of adds into there's more to this story. So, about a week ago, I had found out through a driver that, well, first of all, I had was going to the library like usual. This was the second day after the Fitzroute public transit my ride had ended, and last month, and I had everything scheduled as planned. And I got on the bus, and the bus driver had asked if I uh, was a paying customer or if I had a card. And I was just like, I'm paratransit. And he's like, that doesn't matter anymore. Everybody has to pay. And I'm like, what? I've always, been, as far as I know, I've been paratransit for many years now. And he's like, no, everybody has to pay now, or either everybody has to have a card. And he's like, but I'll let you, slide. I'll give you grace. I'll let you slide for now, but just so you know, in the future, everybody has to pay now. And I tried to reach out to Crystal Mays. Yes, I will be dropping names because I am not playing now. Crystal Mays, who is I believe she's the executive director over or the supervisor over York County Access. I have her. Well, first of all, I did try to call York County Access. It was the morning time. I couldn't get in contact with them. I tried the direct lines of Crystal Mays at the York County Access. I couldn't get in contact with her. I tried the direct line of the operator, couldn't get in contact with her. I texted Crystal Mays to, let her know what the driver had told me and to try to get clarification about this because I was not told about this at the meeting that we went to at City Hall where Jeremy, what is his name? Jeremy Winkler had you know had asked for if people had any thing to say within that 30-day period. Nothing was mentioned about paratransit ending with access. It was all about the Fitz route, my ride ending, and it would be transitioning to the paid by service scheduling transit that you would have to do, which is through Access. And so nothing about paratransit was ending. So Crystal Mays never responded back to me. And so when I got to the library, I asked the driver, so $2 and 50 cents by cash and by card. In my mind is thinking like debit card, credit card. Um he's like, no, a card from your employer. I'm like, huh, okay, thank you. So I reached out to Sabrina Clark, like I mentioned, who is the city's transit supervisor, left a message with her. And usually when I leave a message, I start out calm, and then I have to admit, get into that business, that black social worker mode. I was like, I was not aware of this. I need clarification right now. Because I'm someone with epilepsy who cannot drive, who has no transportation, who was not made aware of this at all. I don't mind paying the $2.50, but I was not aware of this at all. I need clarification and I need it right now. And then I reached out to the city's ombudsman um, to try to get clarification from her. With her words, she was saying that the ombudsman, with the city ombudsman, she really doesn't oversee the York County access, um, because it is a nonprofit, it's a separate entity, but she was understanding where I was coming from. And at this point, we didn't have the Fitz route part of it in our brains. We were just thinking about the public transit ending. And but she was seeing where I was coming from, where the public transit ending, why would it affect another program, a policy with the access ending or them modifying the access? And she said that she would find out what she could and she would get back to me. She said that there were another meeting, of course, outside of the public meetings she wasn't a part of, and she said of the city. So there might have been some things that was discussed then, but she said she would get back to me. And come time when it was time for me to get back home, I reached out to the ombudsman. She said she still hadn't gotten word yet, but she did send out some emails and to try to get some clarification for me. And I just told her thank you. And so I reached out to um Access, York County Access, and I did get in contact with them. And again, because it was after lunchtime, well, it was nearing lunchtime, you can't get in contact. Let me just throw it out there. You can't get in contact with Access when it's towards like lunchtime. But again, a mid-morning lunchtime, but for whatever reason, when it's like 9 o'clock, and according to their website, unless I misread it, they open at 8:30. Um, I don't know. I know you're getting coffee or whatnot, but whatever. But 9 o'clock, I would think you're at your desk, but whatnot. That's besides the point. But I did get in contact with the operator at York County Access, and I told her what the driver told me about paratransit ending, and everybody had to pay the 250. She said that was true, confirming it. And I just told her, I had her on speaker. I had her on speaker. And so everybody, there was another person at this meeting I was at the library, so he could hear too. Yeah, I was serious about that. The black social worker in me was serious. The getting down to business was serious, so I could have witness to this. So she said yes, yeah, confirming that paratransit has ended. Everybody has to pay 250. And I told her, okay, thank you for letting me know. Um, you can cancel my future rides that I have scheduled. I'll just take Uber and Lyft from now on. And she just said, okay, just like that. And I told my friend who was listening in that I've totally washed my hands of them. I know Uber and Lyft cost what probably about I mean 2 times the amount, depending on the time of day, sometimes a quarter of the amount. But honestly, with the stress and anxiety can trigger seizures. But besides that, even besides that, just the disorganization of it, the fact that I wasn't communicated to let me know the change in policy, to just get an email to let you would think that when policy changes, you get emails from, I'm just throwing out stuff, student loans, from banks, from this, from that. Um, I'm on long-term disability. When they're needing something from me, they let me know. From a nonprofit organization that has been in effect, I don't know how long York County Access, I don't know how long the York County Council on Aging has been in effect. But they have my email address on file. They have my phone number on file. Krista Mays has my text message on file. She never responded back to give me clarification. But in any event, yeah, I have totally washed my hands of them. If I have to pay double the amount, a quarter the amount to get to where I need to get to. And I'm not putting it on my friends to drive me wherever. I'm talking about getting to places like meetings outside of my place. Like I go to writers groups, I go to pretty much that's where I go to utilize the access. Sometimes I might meet up with a friend. Um, that's usually where I do use access, like maybe once or twice. To medical appointments. Sometimes I can get a ride from a friend for that, but it's hardly ever. And for that, I get my groceries delivered to me. But for that, yeah. Anyway, so I can work it into my budget. I can work it into my budget to utilize organizations that it may be more costly, but they're more organized. And what Jeremy Winkler, the facilitator at that meeting, said was total lies. He stated that the York County Access, and maybe he spoke what he wasn't supposed to speak. Maybe he was speaking out of turn, but he was saying York County Access would have an online method that people could schedule, um, make schedule rides online. Yeah, that hasn't happened. He said that riders could do same day appointments. Crystal Mays kind of has went back and forth on that. There was a day, um, again after the I don't know. Well, it was right before. It was right before. It was after the meeting that Jeremy had talked about that, I believe. But it was a day that I wanted to go to the library to my writing group, and there's a spot by my window that I can see out where the entrance to my apartment complex. And I've learned when I was at my second floor apartment, to just wait there and look for the access bus, because the time frame they give you, that Crystal Mays gives you, is whenever. The bus, she gives you one time frame, but the bus will come whenever. So on that day, I always tell, well, I ain't gonna tell my secret, but I told the scheduler that I needed to be there at 9 o'clock, and it was like, yeah. And I was like, okay. So I usually, they do come around an hour ahead of time. It seems like they do have that pattern, even though they say get ready at 2 hours ahead of time. Usually it's that hour, but I give them the benefit of the doubt. I still wait in my little spot at 2 hours, as much as I can. So on that day, I was, I think, I don't know, it was like 8:30, 8:45, close to 9, and I called the main office, and Crystal answered, and she said, "Well, the driver said he was at your place at 8:10 and you weren't there." Um and she said that I was like, "I didn't see him come in the parking space." And she said he was there. And I didn't argue against it. I've learned not to argue against stuff. And she had said, "Do you want me to send him another driver back?" And then she kind of backtracked. "Oh, we can't do that anymore." I was like, "Okay, that's fine. Thank you." I just took Uber and Lyft. Um, so yeah, there's a lot of backtracking with not only if it wasn't for just the chaos, the unorganization with when the public bus had ended. So let's get back to Jeremy Winkler. He said that, there would be online scheduling. That hasn't happened, if that will happen. Same day ability to schedule. I It seems like sometimes not. Backtracking, whatever. Um, so the fixed route thing. So if you go back to my previous post, the I did get a call back from someone from the city of Rock Hill, and I explained, what was going on, what was told to me, and I just need clarification. And she said that it is true that the paratransit has ended, that everybody has to pay 250 now. And she explained that the reason because of that is because and I told her I was a social worker, so just explain to me, explain. I can understand. I ask questions, so just explain. I'm the type I'll ask questions until I understand. And she said that every city, every town, has to have a fixed route, public transit in order for the ADA, the Americans, with Disability, to approve and grant paratransit. So, if there isn't a fixed route, then every transportation option basically has to be paid by the citizens. And the way she said it, she's like, and it's just I forgot how she said it, but it made me want to reach to the phone and anyway, she was just like, it just gives everybody a fair option. I was like, okay. And like I said in my previous post, it's not all on the York County Access with what has happened, but there has been a whole lot of lack of communication with the city of Rock Hill. There's always, mostly always, been lack of communication with the York County Access, but with the city of Rock Hill, with Jeremy Winkler at the Beatons, um, I've noticed that whenever like on my post I was feeling some type of way when I had posted in the new What's Up Rock Hill, and I was just like, yeah, we definitely need to do a protest. And every time I would mention paratransit, there was silence. I kind of noticed that. Like, I was like, people who are disabled, people who are homeless who are disabled. I was like, Jeremy Winkler, he didn't mention that. I'm like, why he didn't mention that people who are medically disabled? I mean, again, a driver prior to all of this, back when paratransit was operated by My Ride, when Access had taken over, a driver again had mentioned to me that I could apply for paratransit. That was about 4 years, 5 years ago. Um and yeah, so when I mentioned paratransit, it was like silence. So everything is kind of clicking together. Um but in the group or the post I had mentioned, someone had commented that someone has to pay for something. There's going to be cost for something. And again, I'm not saying that anyway, let's get back to that. Let's get back to that. It seems like when people are in need, the people who don't need the service almost always say or comment or go back to that thought that people want a free ride. Um, and I'll leave it at that. I'll leave it at that. Take of that what you want to. There's going to be a cost for something. And in this situation, all of the cost is with the mistake that the city of Rock Hill made when they took on choosing battery operated electric power buses from a company that basically scammed them. Um, they put the cost on us citizens who were all are in need of transportation. Now, I've ridden back when I could drive, and those of you who know me know I love to go everywhere. Back when I was close, lived in Fort Mill, and could had the option to go a little bit more, and even in Rock Hill when I had the option when I was financially able, I would go to Charlotte. I would utilize the bus system up there, of course, not minding to pay, but they were organized. The city of Rock Hill, there are options. If they need money, or I'm gonna say it, well, yeah, I said it. If they need money to help the bus system run, there are options. They just jumped at the first option they thought of and didn't think it through. And now they're putting it on us, the people in need. And that's make of that what you will. Peace out, y'all. Love y'all.